Hey everybody, welcome to this month's question of the month. If you have a question you'd like to submit, go to yoganatomy.com/my question. This month's question comes from Neov O'Sullivan, and thank you for the video that you created just on how to pronounce your name. So Neov's question is, I practice Ashtanga primary series, sometimes modified, and although I do incorporate back bends, my quads do have a tendency to get tight, which eventually requires help of a therapist. Rather than relying on therapy to loosen them, do you have any tips on quick, short daily movements to keep them from tightening up? Thanks. All right, good question, Neov. I hope I'm saying that right. I doubt it, but close enough, I think. So the first thing that comes into my mind is getting to the bottom of what it is that's causing your quadriceps to tighten up so much that you might need a therapist to undo them. That seems like a more important thing than even what stretches or techniques or whatever that you can do to undo it. Why don't you try to get to the root of why it's happening in the first place? And maybe you're doing that already, or you know what that is, and it's something that's unavoidable. Totally possible. But just in case, I want to make sure you are looking there as well. So there's two things. There's one particular technique. This is my particular favorite quadricep stretch. I have written about it in articles. I'm pretty sure it's in my book, Functional Anatomy of Yoga, as well. And it's kind of like Virasana, hero's pose. But then you put your elbows on the floor, or if you can't get that low, depending on how tight your quadriceps are, one, you might have to sit up on a block. Two, you might have to have two blocks behind you to support your hands higher than the level of the floor. Also okay. And then after you lean back, you push your hips up into the air. And by doing that, I usually use this as a back bending prep. It's more complex than that, but this is the basic gist of it. By doing that, you're going to get at both ends of the quadriceps. So if you were just sitting in Virasana or hero's pose, you would stretch the distal end of the quadriceps. By sitting back, you're stretching that end, and then lifting the hips up off of a block, if you were sitting on the block, would then stretch the hip flexor side of the quadriceps. So that's the quick thing that I would do. You know, the other thing I would do is, therapists can be expensive, is get one of these massage rollers that they sell now. It's kind of like a stick with these bits that roll around that stick, and you could probably do some self-massage. So personally, I'd be more curious as to what is causing that tension to happen in the first place, but that's me. I hope that gave you something you can use and it's useful for you. Anybody else, if you've got a question you'd like to submit, go to yoganatomy.com/my question and we'll get it answered.